Welcome back to the third World Rowing Cup here in Sabaudia. If you're just tuning in, welcome back to this afternoon's session of racing, which will kick off in just a couple of moments' time at 3 p.m. local time. We've got lots of singles repechages to look forward to, but again, a nice, short, sharp session of racing to get us wrapped up for the first day here in Sabaudia.
Di nuovo ben ritrovati dalla torre d'arrivo di Sabaudia per il secondo atto di questa terza prova di Coppa del Mondo. Siamo nuovamente in diretta, sono le ore 14:56 qui a Sabaudia per il nostro pomeriggio ai remi che vedrà cimentarsi nei recuperi tutti gli atleti iscritti nella specialità del singolo, sia leggero che pesante, maschile e femminile.
So the temperature is rising. It's a very heated 24 degrees here out on the lake, but the wind also picking up ever so slightly. We've got a bit of a crosswind now coming across the course, but nothing too much to worry the athletes. The conditions are still absolutely beautiful. But we had some fantastic racing this morning, actually, Luca. I mean, what was your favourite moment of this morning's racing session?
Well, this is a really good question, Camilla. This morning, I would say the men's and women's quads were really, really good. Not only because Italy won both races, and sorry if I underline this, but also because were really, really close races.
Yeah, do you know what? You've taken the words right out of my mouth. They were the closest races I think we saw, and some big boats are always good to get the energy pumping and to get things nice and exciting. But we've got plenty, as I say, to look forward to this afternoon. The first of our races will be a repechage in the lightweight men's single sculls, where we'll see two more athletes secure their place in the A final. We'll then roll through the women's single scull repechage, the men's single scull repechages. There are multiple of those to determine who will be making it through to the semi-finals in that men's singles event.
Dicevamo un programma che permetterà di raggiungere il sogno, o meglio, continuare a rincorrere quello che vuole essere un grande obiettivo, la finalissima, per poi rincorrere le medaglie. Medaglie che nelle categorie leggere verranno segnate domani tra le 11:48 e le 12:50. Le medaglie invece pesanti, quelle nelle barche olimpiche, verranno assegnate invece nella giornata di domenica.
So taking a look to our first race on the course, there's some Italian interest, one of two scullers from Italy that will be contesting this afternoon's repechage session. Is it a bit of a surprise to see Nils Torre in the repechage here, Luca?
Well, it is, to be honest, because he won in Lucerne 2 weeks ago, and so he was one of the favorites, of course. But Martino Goretti this morning was absolutely perfect. So he did a really, really good race. So Nils Torre, let's say, we'll see what he will do today. And the same for Simone Martini. We can't forget Simone Martini, who qualified the single for Italy, of course, back in 2019 in Linz, after 20 years of no single at the Olympics for Italy.
I mean, it's an amazing feat in such a small boat as well, when it's only you to focus on. To qualify a boat like that for the Olympic Games is special nonetheless, but after 20 years for Italy, he must feel pretty proud to have done that.
He's an engineer here, really precise. He loves planning every single stroke, and maybe that was his secret. But we'll see if he can get back in the real shape to set the goal, and of course being in Tokyo, because he will be the Franco Cattaneo, the head coach, deciding and making the call of who will representing Italy in Tokyo in 49 days from today, I think.
49 days indeed. Seems very close, doesn't it? And but let's focus on the racing here and now in Sabaudia in Italy. You can watch Simone Martini on the live tracker and tune into our audio commentary. He'll be going off at 3:24 p.m, so just 24 minutes time pretty much. But we're under starters orders now with the men's lightweight single sculls repechage. In lane number 1, we've got Jonas Fredrik from the Czech Republic. In lane 2, we've got Nils Torre of Italy. In lane 3, we've got Peter Galambos of Hungary. In lane 4, we've got Hugo Boré of France. And in lane 5, we've got Łukasz Sawci of Poland.
Il primo recupero di questo pomeriggio è interamente dedicato al settore pesi leggeri maschile. In acqua 1 abbiamo la Repubblica Ceca, in acqua 2 l'Italia con Nils Torre, ne parlavamo in inglese proprio poco fa, in acqua 3 l'Ungheria, in acqua 4 la Francia, in acqua 5 a chiudere la griglia di partenza la Polonia.
Well, we're already underway and approaching 200 metres gone. Rapid starts from all of these single sculls. I can see the lead changing a number of times. It was initially the experience of Peter Galambos of Hungary in the centre of this lake that took the reins, but it's now been snapped away from him as the high rating, 41 strokes a minute, Hugo Boré of France now creeping into the lead with every single stroke. Everyone's still in contention though. We were talking just before about Torre of Italy, and he is still up in the mix with overlap in this leading pack.
Una gara di quelle che si gioca subito dalle prime palate, perché la partenza è stata veramente esplosiva un po' per tutti questi singolisti che stanno continuando a correre lì in formazione molto ravvicinata. Insieme a Peter Galambos, ricordiamo, un atleta con grande esperienza, classe 1986, plurimedagliato in chiave internazionale. Abbiamo Nils Torre e anche la Francia, quindi sono 3 le nazioni a contendersi le prime 2 posizioni che garantiranno l'accesso in finale A.
Well, that small push that Boré of France put in to try and nab the lead after 20 strokes has just waned off a little bit as Galambos has come back. He's got the experience, and as they take their ratings down onto Racing Rhythm, it's actually Galambos underrating the rest of the field. He's at 35 strokes a minute, but is the fastest moving boat on the course, and he is now tussling for the lead with Nils Torre, who's also seen an opportunity to go out in this leading pack. And as we approach 600 metres gone, Torre's starting to wrestle the lead, and that will be great for the Italians to hear.
Sarà veramente spettacolare ed è bello poter annunciare anche a tutta la componentistica, la tifoseria italiana, che Nils Torre è lì in corsa, è lì vicino al gruppo di testa, si sta veramente dannando per rimanere comunque in corsa lì davanti, quindi Ungheria e Italia in questo momento a contendersi le prime 2 posizioni quando abbiamo superato i primi 500 metri di gara.
Well, this is wonderful to see. It's only 2 boats to go through to the A final, but our 3 crews in the middle of the lake, Hungary, Italy and France, all within, gosh, a quarter of a length of one another. But I can tell you who will know exactly how this race is panning out, and that's our commentators out on the course at the 1 kilometre mark, Tim Van Vliet and Giuseppe Antonucci. Tim, what are these singles doing out there on the water?
Well, it's a very close race, Camilla. It's been a great race from the start for the 3 center lanes from Italy, Hungary and France, and they are absolutely going stroke for stroke with Nils Torre from Italy currently in the lead, but it's not by much. He has a canvas lead over the crew from France with Hugo Boré in that crew, who is actually in 2nd position, and the sculler sandwich between them, Peter Galambos, the reigning European champion and the winner of the first World Cup, the Hungarian sculler, they're just in 3rd position, half a boat length back, but it's everything to play for. But Nils Torre looks good, but he is in the lead by I think a half a canvas at this stage.
Grande recupero dove vediamo molto impegnato il nostro Nils Torre a condurre leggermente con un attacco incessante. Vediamo all'esterno il francese Hugo Boré con l'Ungheria Galambos. Vediamo 3 concorrenti vicini sulla stessa linea, ma un leggero margine di vantaggio per Nils Torre, che prosegue e vuole portarsi quantomeno per l'ingresso in finale. Grande rush finale negli ultimi 750 metri, vediamo interessato alla grande il francese Hugo che sta attaccando, vediamo sia al centro Galambos, ma Torre Nils riesce a tenere alla grande e tenersi ancora al comando in queste ultime battute.
So Peter Galambos struggling in this stage of the race. He's dropping back with the high rate of striking from Hugo Boré in 2nd position, 39 strokes a minute. Basically for most of the race he is up at almost 40 strokes a minute, but still in the lead will be Nils Torre from Italy, getting one of those 2 positions to the A final, and that's going to be a bit of an upset if the reigning European champion falls out of the rest of the pack. and has to race the B final later this weekend. So it's looking good for Italy in first position, France in 2, Hungary in 3, and then it's very close between Poland and the Czech Republic for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, all very close here in these lightweight men's single sculls, and just 2 spots through to the A final. It's very tough out here to qualify in such a high quality field. And like you said, Tim, it would be a real upset to see Peter Galambos of Hungary miss out. But at the moment, he is having to wrestle with trying to get himself back ahead of Hugo Boré of France. I think he's done it. He's had a bit of a kicker through that sort of 1250 to 1500 metre marker, and he's now back up in second place behind the Italian Nils Torre. Fantastic race from him, and like we heard earlier from Luca, the current gold medalist from the last World Cup that we had in Lucerne. So we know he's on form. He's up at 34 strokes a minute, leading this race now by just over a length ahead of Hungary's Peter Galambos, and it's actually Boré of France that slips back into the pack.
Guardate che spettacolo, i colori azzurri riaprono il sipario sul campo mondiale di Sabaudia ed è lui, Nils Torre, a fare l'andatura sui diretti avversari. Una soddisfazione sicuramente preziosa per questo atleta leggero classe 1999 che vuole subito andare a rimettere in chiaro le posizioni, ed è così che Nils Torre continua la marcia trionfale davanti all'Ungheria quando siamo mai ai 150 metri dal traguardo.
Very controlled here from the youngster from Italy. Nils Torre comes into the line with plenty of breathing space. He's a length up on Galambos of Hungary. These two look set to qualify for that A final that will take place tomorrow. And there goes Torre over the line in first ahead of Galambos. It's then going to be, well, in fact, actually a bit of a change-up because the Polish sculler comes through in third position over on the far side of the lake from where we are. A real sort of drift off the pace there from Hugo Boré of France. And then it's going to be Jonas Friedrich of the Czech Republic. We're going to wait to bring you those results in just 2 seconds. But our 2 qualifiers fairly set in Torre and Galambos.
Ovviamente attenderemo la conferma, ma ancora una volta l'Italia riesce a strappare un ulteriore pass per la finalissima assoluta. Promosso in finale Nils Torre in maglia azzurra, e a seguire per la seconda posizione l'Ungheria.
So indeed, our 2 A final qualifiers, the Italian Nils Torre and the Hungarian Peter Galambos. In third position, it was then Łukasz Savici of Poland ahead of Hugo Boré of France. And finishing off the pack, it was Jonas Friedrich of the Czech Republic. Well, thick and fast. It's a very short session of racing. Like we said, we're already on to the next of those repechages. In lane 1, Puerto Rico. In lane 2, Switzerland. In lane 3, Netherlands 2. And in lane 4, Denmark. And they're coming up to Tim van Vliet now.
Yeah, thanks very much, Camilla. We look here across a much more exciting race in terms of contenders for places in the final. We have several crews actually passing us right now. We have in the lead currently from Switzerland, Jan Schröble in lane 4, who is in the lead by about a quarter of a canvas, and followed very closely by the Danish colour Alexander Modest in second, or in third position actually, with Sweden, Ahmet Rapi actually in second position. So everything to play for. It's just 3 seconds separating all these crews as they come into the third quarter.
Bene, siamo oltre i 1000 metri, vediamo questa prima del singolo femminile senior.
So coming to the 1300 meter mark, it's still actually Norway actually having a great push. So the Chum from Norway pushing on 39 strokes a minute in the center lanes, and he's boat length back on the rest of the field, with the Swiss sculler still way out in front and looking very comfortable at 32 strokes a minute. The rest of the field all overrating him quite significantly. But now, as I say that, it's a great push from Rapi from Sweden, who's pushing on and coming into the lead of this race. So just 500 meters to go and everything to play for one of these two crews who go into the A final. So still Sweden is looking very good. Rapi from Sweden now in the lead, and going with him is still Schroeble from Switzerland. Back to you, Camilla.
Thanks, Tim, and thanks for correcting me. We were actually missing a page in our start list here in the tower, so we've just announced the next race to come, so we'll have to hold on for those women's single sculls. But indeed, it is this second repechage of the men's lightweight single sculls that has had been led by the strong Swiss sculler Jan Schauble for the majority of the race, but a real push here from Ahmed Rapi of Sweden, as he really motors now. He's up at 38 strokes a minute, and he's really pushed through the rest of the field that sits just next to him. He's left behind the Swiss, he's left behind the Norwegian. They're trying to respond. Asgeir Tjom of Norway, an early contender in this race, is now up at 40 strokes a minute to try and combat that overtake that Rapi of Sweden has just managed to execute. And these two now right up at the forefront of this race, with Asgeir Tjom, the fastest moving boat on the water.
Vedremo davvero chi riuscirà a passare il turno in questa del singolo pesi leggeri femminile. Una grande battaglia con i colori della Svezia lì in acqua. Riesce ancora ad andare ad aumentare il margine di vantaggio, il talento svedese sulla Svizzera per le prime due posizioni. Ricordiamo ancora, per la terza posizione è buona l'azione della Norvegia, ma la Svezia lì davanti continua a fare l'andatura, quasi a voler dimostrare di essere ai recuperi per caso, perché ovviamente, se questo è il presupposto, sicuramente in finale potrebbe farci divertire ancora di più. Oramai in proiezione non cambia più nulla.
So that little push that was put in by the Swedish sculler has been overturned once again by Asgeir Tjom of Norway. He rode through, having been already overtaken, which is quite the ask, as he comes over the line ahead of Ahmed Rapi of Sweden. It's then going to be a tight finish for the rest of those positions between Switzerland in the middle of the lake, the scullers from Denmark and Hungary as well in that finishing pack, and we'll bring you the results in just a moment's time.
Attenderemo qualche istante per potervi dare l'ufficialità, ma in realtà la vittoria è stata netta con un rimontone, pensate, dal quinto posto all'inizio, poi quarta, terza e prima sul traguardo. Vittoria quindi nella Norvegia, al secondo posto la Svezia.
So confirmation there that our two A final spots do go to those fast finishing scullers, the Norwegian Asgeir Tjom and Ahmed Rapi of Sweden. Those were your top two. In third, it was then Switzerland's Jan Schauble ahead of Alexander Modeste of Denmark, followed lastly by Roland Szegety of Hungary. So we're back up the course now, and this was that start list that I had already announced, but we'll go through them once again for this women's single sculls repechage. We've got Puerto Rico in 1, Switzerland in 2, the Netherlands 2 in 3, and Denmark in 4.
Abbiamo ora il recupero riservato al singolo femminile, con Portogallo in acqua 1, in acqua 2 in acqua 2 abbiamo la Svizzera, in acqua 3 l'Olanda e in acqua 4 la Danimarca.
So looking down the start list, it's a fairly inexperienced field, I'd say, and quite a new sculler here leading the way, Tim, for the Dutch.
from the it's Lisanne Brandsma from the Netherlands leading the pack, but only just because there are 3 scullers in the front of this race and vying for those 3 places into the AB semi-final. It's basically a race not to be lost, and it's looking very good for Fabienne Schweitzer from Switzerland, Lisanne Brandsma from the Netherlands, and Astrid Steinsberg from Denmark. They are comfortably ahead with half a race still left to row, but you can see by the tracker that they're all really content with the place they are. They're just ticking it along at 30 strokes a minute, going almost bowball for bowball, but there's not really that much of a race on here at the halfway stage. I think it's just Fabienne Schweitzer from Switzerland in the lead, passing through the halfway mark first. Then it is Astrid Steinsberg from Denmark, and the third is that aforementioned Lisanne Brandsma from the Netherlands, the multiple champion on the ergometer from the Netherlands. She's trying to get some experience in the single scull, and she's using this race just to go through the motions and prepare herself for the AB semi-finals. Because from Puerto Rico we have Victoria Toro Arana. She dropped off the pack relatively early in the race, having a bit of a difficulty maintaining the same pace as the other 3 scullers, so she has dropped off the back, and I think she will go through the wrap. But those 3 scullers out in front: Switzerland, Netherlands 2 and Denmark.
Bene, prosegue, vediamo la corsa della Svizzera che delle prime battute si è portata a condurre al passaggio, ormai delineate le prime 3 posizioni per il passaggio in semifinali, e prosegue. Ormai vediamo Arana Veronica del Porto Rico attardata, vediamo agli ultimi 750 metri. Intanto ne approfitto, non la presenza qui dai nostri rappresentanti dell'Italia, volevo, come da questa mattina, ricordare e dare un saluto particolare qui nell'occasione di questa giornata che ha dato vita all'apertura di questa terza Coppa del Mondo qui a Sabaudia. Dopo 43 anni possiamo dire riviviamo un momento sicuramente significativo per gli appassionati del canottaggio, e non solo, visto qui l'area di Sabaudia e i dintorni che pullulano di atleti che hanno reso veramente grande il canottaggio internazionale già dagli anni 60 fino a questi giorni. Abbiamo nella nazionale azzurra un pienone di ragazzi e ragazze dell'area pontinea che danno vita all'incremento del nostro canottaggio azzurro. Vorrei ricordare in modo particolare un ringraziamento, rivolgere un po' a tutta l'organizzazione capeggiata dall'amministrazione comunale di Sabaudia, al nostro primo cittadino, la Giada Gervasi, con la conduzione tecnica del nostro Luigi Manzo, presieduto dal Alessio Sartori quale presidente di questo comitato. Ne approfitto più avanti di dare ancora un saluto a tutti gli addetti ai lavori, a voi per questo arrivo. Grazie.
So coming to the Red Boy area, and you, Camilla, it looks like an easy race for the 3 leading scullers, and nothing much changing in terms of the order. So 1 is still Switzerland, 2 will be Denmark, 3 the Netherlands, and 4 Puerto Rico.
Yeah, as you said, the race not to be last, and unfortunately that is the burden that sits with Veronica Toro Arana of Puerto Rico, who sits well off the back of these 3 leading scullers. And it's been fairly plain sailing for these 3 women's singles as they move towards the line. A little bit of a lead change in the middle of the race, like you say, but it's been a great race for Fabienne Schweitzer of Switzerland, who is currently leading. There is a little bit of an opportunity to take should the Danish sculler Astrid Steinberg really want it, just because she's within reach. There's overlap as they come in towards the final few strokes, but in all honesty there's no necessity for it. They will save their energy for the AB semi-final. Coming into the line, it is Switzerland, followed by Denmark and the Netherlands.
Sul traguardo non cambia davvero più nulla, una vittoria importantissima, preziosa per la Svizzera, col suono dei nostri giudici al traguardo lì davanti, appunto ancora con il tempo di 8.02 e 53 a chiudere il percorso.
So our AB semi-finalists coming across the line in first. Fabian Schweitzer of Switzerland ahead of Astrid Steinberg of Denmark. It's then in third place, Lisanne Brandsma of the Netherlands. And unfortunately, it will be Veronica Toro Arana of Puerto Rico that concludes the race in last position. And so therefore out of the running for the AB semi-final. So one of the most well-entered events this weekend, the men's single sculls. We've got 3 repechages to try and conclude our start list for the AB semi-finals. Apologies, 4 repechages here, with the top 2 going through to the AB semi-final. The first of these in lane 1, Sweden. In lane 2, Great Britain 2. In lane 3, Germany 2. And in lane 4, Egypt.
Primo recupero dei 4 recuperi riservati al singolo maschile: Svezia in acqua 1, Gran Bretagna in acqua 2, Germania in acqua 3, Egitto in acqua 4.
So coming into the halfway stages now, Tim Van Vliet's got the best view on the course.
Yes, I've got a great view of Stefan Riemekaster from Germany, 1 length up on George Bourne from Great Britain. But a very good race from Elbana from Egypt, the Rio Olympian. He is still has overlap with the sculler from Great Britain, and he actually led out up until like 400 meters into this race. He had a really good start, and then he dropped back, and Stefan Riemekaster took the initiative in the second 500 of this race to lead it by, I think, it's more than a length now. Stefan Riemekaster actually stretching out his lead with this, well, I think still 700 meters to go. It looks very good for Stefan Riemekaster and George Bourne in hot pursuit. And then it's Egypt's Elbana and Eskilborg from Sweden, currently in 4th position. So he will go to the D final, I think. But there is still a lot to play for in the final part of this race.
Bene, continua la corsa per l'ingresso in semifinale. Vediamo in acqua 3 la Germania, ancora a seguire Gran Bretagna in acqua 2 per le prime 2 posizioni. Lotta aperta, vediamo ancora l'attacco dell'Egitto in acqua 4, ma vediamo abbastanza netto il divario fra i 2 atleti in acqua 2, Gran Bretagna e Germania al comando per questa primo recupero del singolo senior maschile.
So great push from the under-23 world champion from 2019, George Bourne, in the third 500 meters. He's closing down Stefan Riemekaster, who is still in the lead, but it's only a canvas between Great Britain and Germany as they come to you, Camilla.
Thank you, Tim. Yes, a great push here. I can see the meters closing down for George Bourne, the ex-Durham University sculler and now Tideway Scullers School sculler, new to the senior scene, but certainly no stranger to medals at under-23 level, like you say. He is closing down Stefan Riemekaster, and with those 2 spots through to the AB semi-finals, it certainly looks like these 2 are drawing level as they come into 400 meters to go, leaving Egypt and Sweden to fight it out for the C and D final spots.
Vedremo davvero un bello spettacolo in chiusura con Gran Bretagna e Germania che vogliono sicuramente avere le 2 posizioni, quelle che garantiscono l'accesso in semifinale. Una lotta veramente preziosa tra 2 atlete comunque molto giovani che vanno così colpo su colpo a costruire la loro progressione verso il traguardo. Gran Bretagna e Germania, acqua 2 ed acqua 3 lì a fare l'andatura in questo primo del singolo maschile.
That push was enough to see Great Britain's George Bourne move into the lead of this first repechage of the men's single sculls. He's overtaken Riemekaster of Germany, that super spare that will be going to Tokyo, as we mentioned in this morning's commentary. But they come up to the line. There's no response as yet from the German to try and take back the lead. I think these 2 will be happy to settle for that AB semi-final spot where they'll have to do it all again. But George Bourne looking looking extremely long and levered as he comes into the line. He's really still pressing up at 33 strokes a minute. The sculler, coached by Colin Williamson here, will be very pleased with this performance at senior level. The first here this weekend for him. And he'll cross the line there in first position for Great Britain, ahead of Stefan Riemerkasten of Germany, who just takes a look to see where the line is. It's there for you, Stefan, don't worry. You've crossed into an AB semi-final spot ahead of Egypt's Albana. It will then be Eskilborg of Sweden that will progress through either to the C final or the D final. The C or D final, depending on that semi-final.
Sul traguardo la conferma un arrivo veramente scritto, con Gran Bretagna capace di conquistare saldamente appunto il successo davanti alla Germania per le prime 2 posizioni. Finale C per l'Egitto, finale D per la Svezia.
So we're straight back up to the next repechage of the men's single sculls to see who will be joining Great Britain and Germany through to those AB semi-finals. In lane 1, we've got Simone Martini of Italy. In lane 2, Damir Martin of Croatia. In lane 3, Bendugas Petavari Molnar of Hungary. And in lane 4, Danny Fridman of Israel.
Secondo recupero del singolo maschile, non c'è tempo nemmeno di respirare, continuiamo a volare, continuiamo a correre nel nostro programma pomeridiano. In acqua 1 Simone Martini, in acqua 2 la Croazia, in acqua 3 l'Ungheria, in acqua 4 Israele.
So through 800 metres gone now, and it's the Olympic silver medalist Damir Martin for Croatia that leads the way, Tim.
Yeah, and he looks like he's having a really easy repechage, Camilla. It's indeed Damir Martin from Croatia, steadily ticking along at 34 strokes a minute, and he's looking really comfortable. That distinctive style with the explosive backswing of Damir Martin, it's so recognizable even from a distance, and he is closing into the halfway mark, and he has a couple of lengths of clear water up on the rest of the field. But behind him, the race is hotting up for second, third and fourth, because we have 3 crews bow ball for bow ball. There's absolutely nothing in it at this stage between Italy, Hungary and Israel for second, third and fourth. But Damir Martin out in front, looking comfortable, and the work is to do for Simone Martini from Italy and Petavari Molnar from Hungary and Danny Fridman from Israel to get into the AB semis.
Grande secondo 1000 metri, vediamo un attacco gestito dalla Croazia, Damir Martin sull'equipaggio all'esterno dell'Israele, Friedman Dani. Su Simone Martini vediamo che cerca di rimanere a contatto per la seconda e terza posizione, ma diventa sempre più difficile per il nostro azzurro, mentre cresce ancora, vediamo il divario fra la Croazia e l'Israele. A seguire vediamo Ungheria e Italia in acqua 1.
So currently it's Damir Martin still in the lead, of course, but behind him it's at this moment still it's Bendegus Petavari Molnar from Hungary, who is in second position. He's rating 40 strokes a minute, way up, overrating the third placed Italian Simone Martini, who is back in third position with Danny Fridman slipping back out of the pack at this moment. But so there's lots of sprinting still left to do, but Damir Martin comfortable out in front, but the race is for second, third and fourth.
Yes, we were just commenting here in the tower actually at the rating that Bendegas Petavari Molnar of Hungary has managed to sustain through that middle 1,000 metres. He's still up at 39, 40 strokes a minute. And in fact, just as I say that, I've seen the numbers come down. He's now at 38 strokes a minute, perhaps just that little bit too long to keep that kind of pace up. But no doubt as to who our leader is, Damir Martin of Croatia, who's been back on the up and up, looking to better his performances at each regatta. And as he comes in towards the final 500 meters now, he's down at 32 strokes a minute. He's got all the time in the world to make the most of this win in this second repechage, which I don't think is in any doubt. Second place, it is still the Hungarian, but with that really large sustained push through the centre part of this course, I wouldn't be surprised to see someone like Martini take advantage. Danny Friedman just moving off the back here for Israel.
Sarà una gara aperta fino in fondo, una di quelle gare che devi veramente conquistarti costruendola fino al traguardo. Se davanti c'è il vice campione olimpico in carica, il croato Demir Martin per la seconda posizione, ancora in questo istante vediamo proprio l'atleta dell'Ungheria con l'Italia che prova comunque a rientrare grazie all'azzurro Simone Martini. Una gara aperta a 150 metri dall'arrivo.
Wow, what some beautiful long strokes we've got here from Martin, the Croatian, just so superior out here on the lake, moving towards the finish line. I wouldn't even call it charging because he's just all out there by himself, moving through the water at a nice low rating. He's now down at 29 strokes a minute, which just goes to indicate how little effort it has taken him to move to the forefront of this field. And he's going to cross the line in first position, and it is dangerous for second place here with Hungary moving now into second place still, but only just ahead of Italy. A shame there for Simone Martini to miss out on that AB semi-final. I'm sure that will be a surprise. And then a fast finish from Israel's Danny Friedman over in lane number 4.
Sul traguardo la conferma con la vittoria della Croazia sull'Ungheria, terza posizione per l'azzurro Simone Martini, fuori per poco, davvero un peccato dalla semifinale per le finali A e B.
So our two confirmed AB semi-finalists there, Damir Martin of Croatia and Vendegas Petavari Molnar of Hungary were your top two finishers. We'll wait to see Simone Martini in the C final, and we'll wait for the times confirmation to see if Danny Friedman will be in the C final or the D final. But we'll move now on to the third repechage of this race. In lane number 1, we've got Peru. In lane 2, Great Britain 1. In lane 3, Poland 2. In lane 4, Denmark 2, and in lane 5, Norway 2.
È già tempo di voltare pagina col terzo recupero del singolo maschile. In acqua 1 ancora il Perù, in acqua 2 la Gran Bretagna, in acqua 3 la Polonia, in acqua 4 la Danimarca, in acqua 5 la Norvegia.
So as they come in towards 800 meters gone, it looks like it's the second Polish sculler entered into this event. Piotr Plominski of Poland in lane number 3. It does seem like we've had something happen to Great Britain. They're not showing as being moving along the screen here. That's Jack Burns in lane 2. I wonder whether Tim can shed some light onto whether he can see the British sculler.
Yeah, no worries, Camilla, there. Great Britain won. Jack Burns still in this race, and very much to the front of this race, actually. It's Plominski for Poland who leads this third repechage of the men's single, but half a boat length or 3/4 of a boat length back, it is Jack Burns from Great Britain in second position. But he's being closed down by the second crew from Denmark, Bastian Secher, who is in third position. So a great fight developing between those two athletes. They're the very young Danish sculler actually having a great push now, trying to get into second position, but Plominski from Poland tries to stay outside of the charge for the line come the finish, but he is leading a perfect chevron formation with the sculler from Peru and the Norwegian sculler dropping off the pack and having a bit of work to do to get into the AB semi-final. But it's looking good for Poland, and we'll see what Great Britain and Denmark have to say about their placings in the AB semi-final.
Bene, vediamo, cresce ancora la Polonia in acqua 3 a condurre. Interessante sarà la finale, anche qui vediamo 3 gli atleti per i 2 posti disponibili per l'ingresso in semifinale. Con Polonia vediamo in acqua 2 la Inghilterra e Danimarca attaccare, vediamo, cercare di rimanere a contatto per il rush finale e l'ingresso in semifinale.
So difficult to see from here because the telemetry from Jack Burns' boat is not coming through on our screens here, and they are actually leaving our field of view as we speak. But it's still Poland won Plominski in the lead, and Jack Burns and Bastian Secher from Denmark fighting it out for that last place into the AB semi-final. Back to you, Camilla.
Thanks, Tim, and thanks for clearing up that we do still have Jack Burns in this field, and not just in this field, but contending for one of those spots through to the AB semi-final, and it is so close here. I think the Polish sculler Piotr Plominski is going to have to watch out for the fast-moving Dane Bastian Secher that sits just to his right-hand side, because the rating's going up. He's at 35 strokes a minute, Secher, as he starts to close in on that top spot, and he knows that he's going to have to move through Jack Burns as well, who sat in second for the majority of this course. It's going to be tight here for the Edinburgh University sculler from Great Britain, again coached by Colin Williamson regularly and here at this regatta. And these three crews in the centre of the lake now fighting for just 2 spots to the AB semi-final.
Non sarà una gara davvero semplice perché ancora si deve lottare per 400 metri. L'obiettivo è quello di chiudere nelle prime 2 posizioni e ci credono davvero gli atleti della Polonia e Danimarca, che lì in acqua 3-4 stanno cercando davvero di rimanere appunto appaiati. Questa è una strategia per riuscire a tirarsi insieme verso il traguardo davanti a tutti gli altri. È così che la Polonia riesce a mantenere calma, carattere. Ci mette grinta invece la Danimarca, che cambia marcia in questo momento. Sono quindi Polonia e Danimarca in proiezione verso il traguardo per un passaggio che significa accesso in semifinale.
Well, it's all now about Piotr Plominski of Poland, the talented junior sculler that contested for Poland at the Junior World Championships when they were held on the Olympic course in Tokyo. And he now is 3/4 of a length up on the nearest sculler, which still sits at the moment with the sculler just to his right. And as they come in towards the line, it's going to be Poland followed by Denmark. Jack Burns of Great Britain's just fallen off the pace now and is fighting it out for 3rd and 4th. And they come in towards the line, and it's in 4th position still the sculler from Norway ahead of the Perusian sculler that completes the pack. So just to confirm there, that was a win for Poland ahead of Denmark 2. It was then Great Britain in 3rd ahead of Norway 2 and Peru closing out that race.
Sul traguardo davvero nessun dubbio. Vittoria della Polonia, equipaggio 2 davanti alla Danimarca, 3° posto per la Gran Bretagna. Passano quindi il turno solo Polonia e Danimarca.
The last race of this afternoon's session and the last race of day 1 here at the World Rowing Cup in Sabaudia. We've got the final repechage of the men's single sculls with Zimbabwe in 1, Brazil in 2, Poland 1 in 3, Hungary 2 in 4 and Finland in 5.
Siamo arrivati all'ultima regata del nostro programma odierno. È l'ultimo recupero riservato al singolo maschile. 5 equipaggi, 5 nazioni a caccia degli ultimi 2 pass d'accesso in semifinale. Zimbabwe e Brasile con Polonia, Ungheria e Finlandia.
Well, 800 metres gone now, and it's the man that suffered a really painful defeat at the final Olympic qualification regatta. Poland's Natan Wygrycki-Szymczyk leads the way as they come in front of Tim von Vliet.
Yeah, great to see this last repechage of the men's singles and the last race of today being led by Natan Wygrycki-Szymczyk. He's done so from the start. He was leading at the 500 and has continued to do so, and he's actually increased his lead over the Finnish sculler now Karinen in lane number 5, who has dropped back massively. He was only a couple of tenths behind the Polish sculler at the 500, but in this second 500 500, the damage has been done, and it's actually the sculler from Brazil, Lucas Vertime Ferreira, who is in second position as they cross the 1,000-meter mark. Third will go then to Finland. Fourth is in the safe hands of Christoph Ax from Hungary, and fifth is currently Stefan Cox from Zimbabwe, and he's really having some work to do to get back up with the rest of the field. But Nathan Wygrimski-Simczyk leading this last repechage of the day.
Bene, siamo all'ultimo recupero del singolo maschile senior. Vediamo ancora Polonia al comando con lotta aperta per le prime due posizioni, Ungheria e Brasile. In acqua 1 Zimbabwe cerca di rimanere a contatto, ma vediamo leggermente attardato sugli altri concorrenti. Prosegue la lotta all'ingresso in semifinale la Polonia con Brasile e Ungheria per le prime tre posizioni. Vediamo attacco anche all'esterno in acqua 5 della Finlandia. Saranno ancora gli ultimi 500 metri per stabilire l'ingresso delle due posizioni per la semifinale di domani.
So just 2 spots through to the AB semi-final. It's Nathan Wygrimski-Simczyk from Poland, the former strokeman of the Cambridge Blue Boat, who is still out in front. He is extending his lead through the third 500 meters of this race. And second place still goes to Brazil's Lucas Vertime Ferreira, who is in second position. So those two look very good to me to go to the AB semi-final. But there may be a sprint coming from the Finnish sculler on the far side, Joel Naukarinen. He has some work to do to get back into the AB semi-final spots, but we still have some 500 meters left to race as they just crossed the 1,500 meter mark. So Poland won, Brazil second, third is Finland, fourth is Hungary, and fifth is Zimbabwe.
Thanks very much, Tim. Yes, this final race of the first day here, and it's been start to finish a fantastic race for Nathan Wygrimski-Simczyk of Poland. He's continued to strike 33 down this course, a really good rhythm that's not been flittering at all. And next to him, the winner of the America's qualification regatta for the Tokyo Games, Lucas Vertine Ferreira, who will be going to Tokyo, I suspect, to represent Brazil in the men's single scull. And all of this will be practice for him to go up against some of these guys later on in the summer. So that's your 1-2 at the moment, closing in with every single stroke. One last push here for Joel Naukarinen of Finland. He sits in third, but he's up at 34 strokes a minute and just a few centimetres away from Brazil, and with only 2 spots through to that AB semi-final, it's all going to be on the line for the Brazilian.
Mamma mia, una di quelle gare che vuoi chiudere al meglio. La giornata si chiude con un bello spettacolo in rimonta. Se al comando la Polonia per seconda e terza posizione, se la giocano Brasile con Finlandia in una gara in rimonta agli ultimi 100 metri.
Well, I think that the Brazilian's been caught napping here in second position because he's being overtaken by Naukarinen of Finland. He knows how important that second place is behind Wygrimski-Simczyk of Poland. But one final push here for Brazil's Vertime Ferreira. And I cannot tell you who got that second place. I can certainly tell you that Poland finished there with 3/4 of a length over second, who were almost level. And as we wait to see who will get that AB semi-final spot, I can now confirm that it is Brazil's Lucas Vertine Ferreira of Brazil, just pipping out that fast finish from Joel Naukarinen of Finland, who will therefore go to the C final. It's then all up for grabs, depending on the times, for Christoph Ax of Hungary, who comes in fourth ahead of Stephen Cox of Zimbabwe in lane number 5.
Non potevamo che chiudere con un bel photo finish, una gara di quelle che sicuramente mette un po' la panna montata sulla torta, una torta meravigliosa, quella preparata dal comitato organizzatore di Sabaudia per questa Coppa del Mondo. E allora vittoria per la Polonia, al secondo posto al photo finish dicevamo il Brasile.
Well, what a way to finish the first day of racing here at World Rowing Cup 3 Sabaudia. A nice tight finish there for that last spot through to the AB semi-finals in the men's single sculls. But that concludes it for today here in sunny Sabaudia. We'll be back again tomorrow for the semi-finals, for the and for some finals actually. In fact, as well, we'll be presenting some medals tomorrow in the lightweight events, and we've also got the minor finals in the lightweight men's singles and men's singles as well. We'll be kicking off racing local time at 9:30 a.m. and running all the way through to 1 p.m. where we'll have the C final of the men's single sculls on day 2.
E con queste gare abbiamo concluso la nostra prima giornata. Una giornata carica di emozioni, ma che domani lascerà spazio a tante altre sfide che porteranno, tra le altre cose, anche all'assegnazione delle prime medaglie internazionali qui a Sabaudia. Partenza prevista alle ore 9:30, poi il nostro programma che proseguirà senza sosta fino alle 11:30 con l'inizio delle finali A per le categorie pesi leggeri previste fino alle ore 12:34, a seguire ancora finali B e C e D che porteranno il nostro programma a chiusura alle ore 13:01. Un'altra giornata carica di sfide che poi lascerà spazio alla domenica, dove veramente vedremo il gran finale di questa Coppa del Mondo a Sabaudia.
Well, once again, thank you again for joining us here on the first day of racing. Do come back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. local time. You can tune in on the World Rowing website or here on site. Thank you again to all of the volunteers, the organising committee and everybody that's made this possible here at World Rowing. It's fantastic to be back racing after a year last year of not very much action on the water at all. So grateful for all of the opportunities here on the final steps towards the Tokyo Olympic